William Ruto is back in the country, and earlier today he presided over a government function at Uhuru Gardens in Nairobi. Top government officials were present except Rigathi Gachagua. And this time around, there was no seat reserved for Rigathi Gachagua. In the past, we have been seeing a seat being reserved for Rigathi, but today there was no seat reserved for Rigathi Gachagua. Let's have a look at the news as shared out by William Ruto's social media pages. William Samoei Ruto, we are upgrading our infrastructure, offering incentives to the hospitality industry and promoting our rich and diverse culture to help attain the full potential of our country's tourism. Our target is to make Kenya a must-visit destination and attract 5 million visitors a year by 2027 at Uhuru Gardens, Nairobi, for opening ceremony of the magical Kenya Travel Expo. And then William Ruto has shared out those photos there. And from that photo, you are seeing William Ruto there. And then on his right, we are seeing Rebecca Miano. And on William Ruto's left, we are seeing Johnson Sakaja. And where Rebecca Miano is seated or standing is where Rigathi ought to be sitting or standing. So it's very clear Rigathi Gachagua was not even invited or expected to attend this function. And that goes on to prove that indeed William Ruto is serious. He wants his deputy impeached. I want us to dig deep into this story for Kenyans to understand what's happening here. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Let's proceed. Let me start by saying this. Ruto is talking about tourism, that he wants by 2027, our target is to make Kenya a must-visit destination and attract 5 million visitors a year by 2027. For Kenya to be a must-visit country for tourists all over the world, there has to be peace and stability in the country. And for that peace and stability to be there, then William Ruto has to make sure he tames dissidents. Kenyans are complaining on the ground. We are also seeing a lot of instability in Ruto's government. So Ruto has to stem that. And for him to stem the instability on the ground, he has to do things the right way. As it is right now, a whopping majority of Kenyans feel Ruto is doing the opposite of what they expect. So we can't even tell what will happen tomorrow. Maybe Gen Z can erupt again. So William Ruto has to do things the right way. We must see him fighting corruption. We must see an all-inclusive government, not a two-tribe government, Mountain and the Kalenjin. We must do things the right way. Rigathi is missing in action. If you look at that, and now the impeachment that has been tabled in Parliament, I did explain in our earlier video that this was a well laid out strategy. Even before Kenyans knew what was happening, William Ruto had laid out a strategy to impeach his deputy president. Kenyans never saw this coming, and maybe even Rigathi Gachagua himself has not yet accepted this reality that he's just about to be impeached. He still thinks Ruto is playing games. Ruto is just executing a well laid out strategy of kicking Rigathi Gachagua out of this government. And for those who have been following me here, immediately some ODM leaders were appointed as cabinet secretaries. I did explain here that the aim of that was to kick Rigathi out of the government. And I did explain that William Ruto cannot or should not embrace both Rigathi and Raila at the same time, he'll end up losing. Mtaka yote ukosa yote. So Ruto had to make a decision whether to work with Rigathi or whether to work with Raila Odinga. And it appears he has chosen to work with Raila Odinga at the expense of Rigathi Gachagua. It's clear from this event that Rigathi now knows he's not part of this government. He's waiting for his impeachment. I still maintain Rigathi has to resign. There is no need of him still just being there, but it's clear the entire government, elected leaders are now against him. Even if he was to stay in office, how will he work with this boss, Ruto? How will he work with this boss? Because already this is an impeachment having the blessings of Ruto himself. Even if Rigathi was to remain, how will he work with Ruto? The best thing is for Rigathi to resign, and I don't know why it's too hard for African leaders to resign. This is a public office, not a private office. The moment you realize your services are no longer needed, you must just do the honorable thing of resigning. We also know William Ruto is the person who single-handedly picked Rigathi Gachagua. In 2022, most Mount Kenya leaders were rooting for Professor Kithure Kindiki, but William Ruto overruled them and single-handedly picked Rigathi Gachagua. That's also something Rigathi should also know. So if that William Ruto who single-handedly picked him does not want him, Rigathi has to go. He will not win this war, ladies and gentlemen. And even from those photos, we are also seeing Johnson Sakaja. Sakaja has been having some serious issues with Rigathi Gachagua. And the war between Sakaja and Rigathi started a long time ago. I don't know what Rigathi now feels seeing Sakaja with William Ruto. Somebody has been fighting all along. This should be a lesson to our leaders. If you get a public office, don't get drunk with power. Be humble and work with a lot of humility. Rigathi is going through a lot of stress seeing Sakaja and Ruto together. This should be a lesson to our leaders. Be humble and work with a lot of humility. As I conclude, upon Rigathi being impeached, William Ruto will also be in a very tight corner. Rigathi can easily join efforts with the opposition, and with the simmering threat coming from some Gen Zs, the pressure will be too much for William Ruto to bear. He'll only be able to bear the pressure if he'll start performing, if he'll start doing what Kenyans are asking of him to do. But if he impeaches Rigathi and it still continues the way things are going, business as usual, then William Ruto might also be shocked. There might be another round or wave of protest across the country. That's highly possible. So if he impeaches Rigathi, let him deliver. Failing to deliver, the pressure will be too much on him to bear. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Any person watching us outside Kenya, drop a comment, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. If possible, subscribe, give the video a like. And to any person who may want to support our forum, because some have been asking for that, that's my number. Feel free to send anything to that number. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Kenya.